My testimony. You always hear stories about people's testimonies, people finding their way to Christ, and testimonies are always different, and they always start off with some specific event that led that person to Christ, or led them to ask a certain question or questions, and they go to the Bible, they go to their preacher, or whatever they got to do, whatever it is, it always points to Christ. So that's the direction they take, and I think that's one of the miracles, one of the miraculous ways, I guess, that God works. And that's no different for me. What I thought was something bad actually turned into something good, in a way, half good, half bad. But I always like to hear I always like to hear other people's testimonies. So I thought, I would put mine out there. I hope you enjoy it. If you have a testimony, and you're a subscriber to my channel, or if you're just a friend on my page, or if you're just hearing this video, I'd love to hear yours as well. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm welcoming anybody who has a testimony to share it with me. I'd love to read it and give my responses. But I'll go ahead and get into it. About a little over a year ago, I was coming towards the end of a relationship with a girl who I thought was the one for me, and it's a fantastic girl, and we were together, I've known her since 7th grade. We were friends in middle school and all through high school, and just friends, and I didn't have many friends that were girls, but she was probably one of the best that I had. I was always comfortable around her. She made me feel really comfortable. And in my senior year, second semester, she put her number in my phone, and from then forward we talked and hung out and started dating, and that lasted about 3 years, and then things got rocky, like relationships always do. But ours gradually got worse and worse, and we didn't know what to do. We knew we loved each other. She was my first love, I was her first love, and we didn't know where to turn. So we started going to church, and we started praying together, only at church though. It was just a church thing. It was never, let's pray at home, or anything like that. It was just we always made it an effort to make sure we were at church on Sundays. And for me personally, I felt like I was going for the wrong reasons. I was just trying to figure out a way to make mine and her relationship better, and now I know church is about a different relationship. But we prayed and we did that, trying to hold the relationship together, and inevitably it just didn't work out. But towards the very end, I'm going to call her Delilah. Delilah, that's not her name, but Delilah had to take a trip to California with her friend. Her friend invited her and said, I'd like for you to come with me. She was going to see her family. She just didn't want to go alone. So Delilah went with her, and they did whatever they did for a few days. And on their way back on the plane, Delilah sat next to a young man named Daniel. And Daniel was 18 years old. I think he just had graduated high school. I don't know the full story, but he was a Mormon, and he was getting ready to go on his mission in a few months. This was in October, and he was taking his mission in December. And I think the way it worked out was he kind of started talking to her about Mormonism. I think he may even have witnessed to her. And then Delilah came back, and I think we were separated at the time, just trying to be friends and just trying to work through it, because it was a heartbreaking situation for both of us. But she started telling me about Mormonism and going to the Mormon church, and I had never even heard the name Mormon, didn't know anything about it. So I started studying it, started reading about it, because I wanted to see what she was getting herself into. I wanted to see if this church was a Christian church, and if it was okay, or and as I studied it, I started getting deep into mostly church history, not so much doctrine. just learning about, you know, the story of Joseph Smith, and the plates, and that whole, all of that, just the basic overview of Mormonism. And right off the bat, I couldn't believe it. I wasn't as open as I am now. I wasn't trying to read the Book of Mormon. I didn't care to read it. I read it now, but I didn't then. And I wanted to witness to her, to bring her out of it. And I would speak to her, and I would speak to the missionaries and her Mormon friends, and we even had, you know, a get together where myself, Delilah, and 4 missionaries, I think, at her house, just had a long kind of debate over the whole thing. And it was just kind of back and forth. It didn't help anyone, because I didn't know enough about their faith to witness to them. I didn't even know enough about my own faith to witness to them. But that whole thing kind of lit a fire inside of me to figure out Mormonism, to kind of study it, and mostly I was trying to bring her out of it. And now, you know, probably 13 months later, here I am, and I'm still doing the same thing, and it's led to other things. Now I'm studying, you know, Jehovah's Witnesses, and I'm, you know, the Watchtower Tract Society, and Islam, and the other denominations of my own faith, and just haven't got so much into the other things, just kind of got an overview. But as far as Mormonism goes, I've dug into the doctrines, and I've dug deep into the church history and other publications outside of the basic works. I spoke to missionaries for a period of, you know, 8 months, you know, twice a week, and I still speak to them to this day. And that's where I am now, just still doing it, still studying, and doing my part as a Christian, just to try to witness. And I don't know, it's what I love to do. I spend every day, you know, studying, reading, you know, not just the Bible. You know, I do try to keep a balance though, but not just the Bible. You know, I still study, you know, the Book of Mormon. I still study the Doctrines and Covenants, and I'm kind of past that a bit, and I'm more looking at the life of Joseph Smith and the life of his children and his wife, and those things. But I don't know what it is inside that just keeps burning, keeps wanting me, keeps pushing me to learn more and more about this. I pray about it, you know, and I've even stopped. There was a period where I stopped for 2 months, and I said, I'm done. I don't need to study it anymore. You know, she's gone. You know, it was like a love sick puppy type thing. But now, it's like everywhere I turn, if I'm on the internet, no matter what I'm doing, the Mormon stuff is getting thrown at me. So I can't get away from it. So I just gave up, and I said, okay, I'll stay in it, and I'll study, and I'll see what I can learn, and I'll see what I can do. And so I continue to talk to Mormons. You know, and like you'll see on my channel, you know, I have a respect for them. I love them. I love, you know, all people of all religions, and I'm not afraid to witness to anyone. I'm not afraid to give the gospel to anyone. That's why you'll see on my page, you'll see atheists, you'll see all those things. And the great thing about being a Christian and being saved and coming to Christ is your mind is completely open. I mean, I've never been a person who likes science or biology or anthropology or any of that stuff, and I study it all now. It's my hobby. It's what I love to do now. It's what I spend all my extra time doing, and that's the great thing about having a good relationship, a loving relationship with Christ, is He'll lead you to good things. And like I listened to Paul Washer and a sermon he gave, and he said, "The God who started a good work in him will finish it." And that's kind of the way I'm living. I'm just making sure I'm living up trying to living up to God's expectations of me and what He wants to do through me, and I'm just praying that He will continue to use me as a tool to do His work and to spread His word. So that's where I'm at, and if you have a testimony, share it with me. If you listen to this video all the way through, I appreciate it. Till the next time, God bless.